Hello everyone, welcome to the another episode of Thoughtful Leaders, an initiative under Thoughts on Education by College Dunia. Today we have Dr. Sophia Ansari, the Director of School of Business Management, Raisoni Group, and she is also the Dean of Raisoni Business School. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, it would be great if Ma'am, it would be great if you can introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Sophia Ansari, and at present, I was welcomed, I was being introduced. At present, I'm the director for G.H.Raisoni School of Business Management, which is located at Nagpur. And I also have an additional responsibility as Dean Research for Raisoni Business School. Okay, and this is all about my current profile. And talking about my experience, I have more than 20 years of experience in industry and academics. I have seen academics right from the beginning. I had a humble beginning, and then I grew, and I know how does a student respond and how does a management, what are management looking for. Okay. So, as with an additional responsibility of research work, I feel in our country, research is not given much of importance. But if you want to grow as a nation, if you want to grow as a person, if you want to grow, research plays a very important role. And now the importance of research has come is known to everyone. And this is what we are trying to also imbibe this thought process of research amongst our students also. Okay, and that's all about me.
That was great, ma'am. With your experience and immense knowledge what you have gathered, I'm for sure students have so much to learn from you. So now let's move to the question answer round. The first question would be being the part of management, what is your philosophy of leadership and how would you describe your leadership style?
Okay, the first thing when I talk about a leader is a person who leads from the front. And if I have been given the responsibility from the management to head an institute, I feel I have the maximum responsibility. I have the responsibility to be catered for my faculty members, for the management, for the student, and for all the stakeholders. So I believe leaders are who leads from the front. And the other thing what I feel about a leader is a person who creates more leader and not followers. This is what I tell my student. You need to be a leader. You should not be a follower. So this is the mantra or this is the philosophy that I imbibe in myself. And this is what I also propagate to others. Yeah.
That's great to hear, ma'am. So, ma'am, as you said, you have, more than 2 decades of experience in industry as well as into academics. So, according to you, what exactly, makes the education industry the best industry to work in?
Yeah, the education industry, I tell you how I switched over to education. I never had the slightest desire or dream of entering into academics, because I'm a law graduate and I pursued law and I practiced law for quite a long time. And then after that, I switched my career. I went into training and development in the industry. I worked for advertisement company in sales and marketing. And then I came over to academics. And when I came here, and I really started loving the profession, and I myself discovered myself. I never knew that I would even excel in teaching. I would even excel in this industry of academics. This is an industry where you can nurture young minds. And as faculty members, as teachers, we have got more responsibilities. What I feel, I don't say that people working in the corporate or industries have no responsibility towards the nation or the society. But I feel our responsibilities are manifold because we nurture young mind. We are opinion leaders. We influence children by our thought process, by our knowledge, by our experience. whatever we give them, they are going to have that opinion. So I feel this industry, the academic industry, has more responsibility. Their responsibilities are much more, and I'm very proud and I'm very happy that I have taken this responsibility as my own choice. It was my own choice, and I'm really loving it. And I would like to stick to this industry forever in my life.
That's great to hear. Like, your self, you can say, as you said, like you have understood yourself further and where your interest lies once you have been part of this industry. So,
Yeah.
as you are, currently handling two major responsibilities in the institute, one is the director and another one is the dean research. So, being an integral member of the institute, how your work actually impacts the growth of the institute?
Definitely, when a responsibility has been shouldered to me by the management, they must have thought something on me. Okay, they must have definitely they have given this responsibility to me with great desire, with great expectation, and with great belief. And it becomes my responsibility also to reciprocate back. So I feel that every employee of an organization has to work towards the mission of the company, and one has to know the vision of the organization, and we need to move in the direction of the vision, and then only we can meet the objective of the organization. And I feel my association with the group, that is Raisoni Group of Institution, has been since 2007. And in this journey of mine, I have always tried to give my bit. I know my contribution is just like a drop in the ocean in this big group. But I feel if this drop is not there, the ocean would have been incomplete. So I don't expect that I have given much, but I feel whatever little I have done, it must have added value towards the growth of the organization.
That's great to hear. That's really great because, with every single drop, the ocean fills. So if everyone will, do their bit, then obviously we will be, the best in the world. So, ma'am, as you said, like, the young people, the young mind are the, future of the country, and education is the one side which gives that boost to the country. So, according to you, what do you think should be, top priorities for next over 3 years for the institute like Raisoni Group of Institutes?
Yeah, I would just like to narrate the vision of our institute. The vision of our institute is to impart quality-based value education. Okay, to impart quality-based value education, and apart from that, to make our students future leaders, and to even nurture them to do something for the society. So I feel that as human being, at first and foremost, before becoming a student, we all are a human being. We all are human being. Even our students are human being. Even the faculty members are human being. I always believe in human value and the touch towards humanity and unity amongst others. So before they become young budding managers, they have to learn the importance of value system, ethics. These are something that I would imbibe. And once when you know which is the right value, and if you follow the ethical code of conduct, rest everything will fall in place. And I would also like to add on to it that because we are a management institute, and we all know the entire world is going through a phase which is not very positive that we see. But now down the line, from the last few months, we can see positivity. But there were days and times where everything was in a standstill. So it is a time even for us to recheck. Even it is time for us to rethink. Even it is time for us to remend our approaches, our thought, and the kind of the way we used to practice in the past is not going to serve us well now. We need to reform. We need to change our approach, and this is what we have to bring it in the mindset of our children. Gone are those days when you had the primitive practice of doing things. Now you need to be multitasker. It is no more that you know only one skill. One skill is not enough. You need to be multitasker. You cannot always be a job hunter, you also need to be a job giver. Rather than being a job seeker, you need to be a job giver. These are some of the qualities and value system we wish to imbibe in our student. And on our vision statement, we stand still, and meeting the vision statement of the institute will, if we are in a position, if we all collectively work towards the vision of our institute, then there is no looking back.
So true. Like together only we can, go move ahead and look forward for the success and the positivity. So, ma'am, as you have, been part of law, and then you move to the industries and now into academics. So all three are different, you can say, part of the country economical cycle. One is also there as a part of the pillar of the constitute. So as you have gained, so much of immense knowledge and experience throughout your journey of professional life as well as to your academic side. So, how do you plan, giving this experience or knowledge to the students, or pass on to the, your experience to the students, which you have gained throughout this time?
Yeah, see, I told you that is why this is the beauty of this industry. This is the beauty of this academic industry. Like whatever you have learned in the past, all your knowledge, your wisdom, your thought process, your experience, it's time for you to give it back to the society. Like an industry does a CSR work and it give it back to the society. We as academicians, how do we give it back to the society? We give it back with the help of these students. These students are our ground where we nurture them. And I always make it a point, like I also teach. It is not that I'm only at the administrative position. I have a love towards teaching. I have an interest towards teaching. And I teach students. I take up subjects like human resource management. I teach business law. I teach strategic management. So whenever I get an opportunity to interact with the students, to interact with the young minds, I always try to share in my information, my experience that I have gathered in all these years of mine. And at the same time, I'm also open towards learning from young minds, because none of us is an encyclopedia. I always tell it, like we all are not an encyclopedia. If I'm telling you something, at the same time, I'm also learning from you all. And each day of my lectures, I also learn from my student. Even they are very informative, because today information is available just on a click of our fingers. So learning needs to be reciprocated. Learning needs to be learned from each other. It cannot stop at one point of time. So I definitely make it a point to share whatever little I know with my children, my students, and my fellow mates.
That was great to hear, ma'am. So, ma'am, as in your introduction also, you said like, leadership, or, how you connect with the students, that you always, try to understand their mindset and all that. So I want to understand, being an academic dean as well as the director. So how do you define your connection with the students and faculties, and how do you exactly balance between these students in college?
Yeah, this is something very tough. But as I said, I am in an administrative position, so I need to work like a catalyst. So I am a catalyst between the management and the student. I am a catalyst between the student and the faculty, and I have to play the role of a catalyst. And I need to create a win-win situation. I cannot become biased. I cannot become one-sided, and that is where I have to be as a leader of the institute. This is where the challenge is with me. I need to be wise enough in taking the right decision. So and at the same time, I need to also ensure that my management is not disappointed by the decisions that I have taken. And at the same time, I cannot see to it that the name of the organization is at stake. So there are quite a time, there are occasions when challenges come in front of us, but with our experience and by consulting, I don't say that I take decision always on my own. I definitely have a practice of consulting it with my faculty members and even with the student representatives, because in today's era you cannot take any type of decision, or you cannot work in isolation. Nobody can work in isolation, and the day you start feeling that you are a leader and you can take decision on your own, that is your doomsday. So you need to take everybody into consideration. That I feel that is very important.
That was, absolutely correctly what you said. Like, you need to take up the consideration or feedback or suggestion from everyone before taking up the decision, because sometimes you can be wrong, or sometimes you have the, incomplete information on something, and it's always good to consult. So, ma'am, like the time when you were doing your education, say in terms of law or the education what you have completed, what changes you feel are there, in the current time of education, and what was there earlier?
There is a sea change. During my days when I was studying law, or when I was doing my graduation, then I pursued my MBA. There is a sea change. We were not that informed, and we were very timid, and we used to always be very quiet. Like, I was always an introvert student in my class. I was not that extrovert, but later on I became so, because my profession demanded. When I did law, I thought that I cannot stand mum at a corner, otherwise I'll be thrown out very soon. Later on I had to change myself. But if I look at children of today's day, when I enter into the classroom and I look at students, they are well informed and they have got everything on their fingertips. And when you go to the class, you cannot talk nonsense. You need to be well prepared, because you never know. The next boy who's sitting there can ask you a question, or they can correct you also. I don't say that everyone is like that, but in a class, there are one or two students, they are well informed. They are well informed about everything. Out of respect, they might not tell you, but there are occasions when you will ask them, they would definitely tell you. So today's generation students are like, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. That is why they are called as the tech kids. They are the tech kids, and they have all bit of information. And we as faculty members or as teachers of a particular subject, we need to be well informed, we need to be well prepared. And we cannot, like in our days, there used to be a generation gap between, if our teachers would tell us anything, we had to hear it. But here, you cannot ignore today's student. You have to take them along with you. You cannot ignore them. You need to be very participative with them. And if you are participative with them, if you listen to what they say, then they would also respect. And one has to work in collaboration. During our time, there was no collaborative learning. But now the learning techniques have changed many-fold. Today is not the era of chalk and board. Gone are those days that within the four walls of the classroom and with the chalk and board you can teach student. No. You have to do a lot of case studies. You need to give them industry-based example. It needs to be application-based mode of learning. So it is only when learning will come out. Earlier it used to be studying, now it is learning. So we have seen a sea change. There has been a sea change, and this change is on a positive note, which we all appreciate and which we all welcome. And looking at the new education policy, which will be very soon implemented in our country full-fledgedly, then we will still see many more changes in our approach, in our thought process. And if faculty members are not ready to take up that, probably the exit door is open for them. So we need to accept change for the best.
Truly always said like change is the only constant, and at the time when industry has changes so frequent, the trend changes so frequent, we need to focus more on the practical learning rather focusing on theory. And students understand when you are giving them only theory and no practical addition, so they actually challenge those concepts. So ma'am, as you know, nowadays it's not the time when only parents have the opinion to which course to go for or what study to go for. Now students also have the complete say in what they want to choose. So at this kind of time in the say economy or in the time of education, so what is your message to the parents or the family members of the student, and at the same time what is your message for the youth of the country?
Okay, now I'll first answer your first question. My message to the parents, like I'll tell you out of my sheer experience that I have from the last 10, 12 years interacting with parents. Now, parents are of two categories. Okay, some parents are there who are very much aware about their children. They take keen interest in knowing how their wards are performing, and they always keep a check on the performance of their ward. And the other side of the coin is there are parents, they are least bothered. Once if the child has taken admission because they feel that they are PG level student, you don't have to be behind them. But I feel like as parents, okay, at the end of the day, they are children. Okay, at the end of the day, they are students. Some of them are a little bit grown up and some of them are not that grown up, not that mature. It is not always necessary that the decision that would be taken by the students would always be 100%. And teachers cannot always be there with them 24/7. So the second person who has to be with the student are the parents, because they have more rights and responsibilities over their ward than the teachers. So that is what the message that I would like to give it to the parents is that though today is an era of independency, people are independent, people can take decision. Though our students are adults, but still, even if there is independency, there has to be a check measure upon the student, because if at any point of time, if any decision taken by a student goes haywire, somebody has to be there to correct them and bring them back. Okay, so that is what I say. But you cannot be nagging parents. You cannot play the role of a nagging parents, always be behind them. No, that is not needed. Just keep an eye on them. That's it. So that they know somebody is there. Like in college, it is our responsibility. At home, it becomes their responsibility. One meeting is going. This can be edited, no? I can't hear you.
Yes. So what would be your message to the youth of the country?
Okay. Coming back to my next question, like the message, like I always tell this in my class whenever I get that opportunity to say something. I would always tell it to my student, like there are going to be occasions when people are going to bully you, they are not going to agree to you, you are going to lose your peace of mind, but don't be afraid. Okay, don't pay much attention to such people. Just ignore them. That is why it is said that ignorance is bliss at some occasion. Try to be like, as a student or as the youth of the country, you have more responsibilities, okay, to shoulder. Try to be proactive, be a self-starter, be a quick learner. Nobody is going to come and motivate you every now and then. You need to be a self-motivator. Do not have fear of taking risks. This is something that I would always love to give it to the younger generation. Never be fearful of taking risks, because if you don't take risks, how are you going to reach your goals? Many people have committed so many errors. Like you talk about Thomas Alva Edison, the kind of mistakes he has made, and then we got something great. Okay, so try to spread humanity and unity amongst people. You should not forget the society. At the end of the day, we also have to give it back to the society. Every person is unique in its own way. Okay, we all are unique in our own way. Never try to copycat people. Try to be unique. Try to be your own self and live up to your dreams, live up to what you have decided to be, and go ahead. Like, be a go getter, be a self starter. And that's all. If you have this thought in your mind, you are going to shine out one day. And you have to make your parents proud, your country proud, and the people with whoever you are associated with. So the responsibility lies manifold.
That was a great message to the youth, that if you have, you understand that you need to be a self-starter and you need to be a go-getter, you are not stoppable at any given point of time. So that's all from my side, ma'am. Thank you very much for being the part of the show. I would like to again convey my vote of thanks from College Dunia team side for giving us your valuable time. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks a lot for considering me for this interview.